Let's see if the budget Asus ROG G16 this year can hold up to its expectations. Let's review Asus ROG G16 G615JMR. Hey everyone and welcome back to Binosha Tech channel. I'm Amin Khaliqi and today we're gonna review Asus ROG Strix G16 G615JMR with Intel Core i7-14650HX processor along with RTX 5060 at 115 watts. We previously reviewed the powerful and more expensive version of the ROG Strix G16 laptop, which featured an Ultra 9 processor 275HX and an RTX 5070 Ti graphics card. It was a fantastic product with a very high price tag. Now it's time to look at its similar, more budget-friendly sibling, the Asus G615JMR. The main question is, how much value does this laptop can offer, being almost half the price of the flagship model, and what compromises have been made to reach this price point? Before starting the review, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and ringing the bell icon so you won't miss our next reviews and videos. This review focuses primarily on the differences and the performance difference of this specific model compared to that higher model we reviewed. For a comprehensive look at the design, chassis, and general features, you can refer to our full review of the G615LR or the higher version review video, and you can find the link to that review in the description below. So first, let's talk about differences and compromises. To lower the price, Asus has made several changes in various areas, which we'll explore now. First, let's talk about the design and the body and chassis. The main difference you see at first is the input device. The keyboard's backlighting has been changed from perky RGB to Forzen RGB. For many users, this change is negligible, but it's worth noting that the more expensive model also featured higher quality switches. Additionally, the trackpad on this model lacks the virtual numpad feature that was present in the flagship version. And I should say, for the keyboard, it already has a great keyboard, but you have to know that you will get a lower version of that keyboard, and because of that, some people may find it not pleasing, but at least you are paying at least $1,000 cheaper compared to that 5070 Ti model. And the other one is the display. This model features an FHD Plus panel with a 165Hz refresh rate. The reduction in resolution, refresh rate, brightness, and color accuracy compared to the higher end model is one of the main reasons for this device to achieve this lower price. Given the price, this is a logical compromise. However, one might have hoped for at least higher brightness or a faster refresh rate from Asus. We hope Asus improves its FHD Plus panels in the next year's models, especially at this price range, about $600 or $1,500. And it is not that cheap. It's a solid mid-ranger, and we could see better panel for this laptop, at least with 240Hz or 300Hz panels for this laptop. I know we have 5060 in here and FHD Plus is enough, but we could get 400 nits of brightness or 500 nits of brightness, but we don't have it here. Let's talk about the main difference: processor and graphics. The heart of this device is the Intel Core i7-14650HX processor along with the Nvidia RTX 5060 graphics card with a full 115 watts of power. A major positive is that both components operate at their maximum potential with its chassis ensuring fantastic performance. While it's true the processor is from previous generation, this decision has significantly helped in reducing the final cost. Moreover, this processor is still one of the most powerful options for mid-range laptops in this price range. As for the GPU wattage, I should say, it is not the first time we've seen this kind of thing, but we've seen more than 115 watts of power in this laptop. I don't know how, I don't know why, but we didn't see this kind of thing on 5050, but we've seen it in 5060 and 5070 laptops. I mean higher end or well-cooled gaming laptops with 5060 or 5070. Nvidia limited 5060 and 5070 to 115 watts compared to 140 watts from 4060 and 4070. And we are seeing around 133 watts in this laptop for the GPU TGP. And it's a bit odd. I don't know how we can achieve this kind of TGP, but we are having it, and it is not the first laptop I'm having this kind of TGP in it. I thought it was a bug or problem with the HW application, but it wasn't. And we can get more than 115 watts, even though the laptop is limited at that TGP. I don't know how, but you can achieve it in this kind of laptop. So let's talk about benchmarks. We tested Cinebench R23 in this laptop and we got more than 22,600 scores on multi-core, which is good, and I think it is one of the best scores we've seen with this CPU. We also tested Cinebench 2024 and we got almost 1,300 scores, which is great. And it is again one of the best scores I've ever seen in Cinebench 2024 CPU test. And as for the CPU wattage in those tests, we could get up to 176 CPU wattage, and as I said earlier, for the GPU wattage we can get up to 133 watts while gaming or benchmarking this laptop. As for the CPU temperatures, we got up to 98 degrees, which is great, and 85, almost 85 degrees for the GPU, so the heat management is great too. As for the Geekbench, we got almost 16,000 scores, and for the time spy, we got up to 13,000 scores. It is too high. I mean, this level of performance for this laptop with this CPU is kind of amazing. I really liked using this laptop and playing on it. We will talk about frame rates in the games later in the video. And as for the Steel Nomad in 3D Mark, we got 2,700 scores. And as for the Blender, we got almost 3,600 scores, which is good, and it is on par with other 5060 laptops. As for the Adobe applications, we couldn't run Premiere properly on this laptop with 16 GB of RAM. I don't know why, but it is the 5th laptop we are having this problem with. And I don't know it's an Intel thing or Nvidia thing, but you can't run this kind of performance or workloads with 16 GB with newer GPUs. And because of that, we had to upgrade the RAM to 32 GB to get the proper result. And with 16 GB, we got more than 13 minutes of render time. With 32 GB, we got 3 minutes and 42 seconds of render time, which is great. As for the Adobe After Effects, with 32 GB, we got 4 minutes and 33 seconds, which is good. As for the SSD speeds, we got almost 7 GB for the read and 5.6 GB for the write, which is a good SSD speed for this kind of laptop, and I can say I was happy with it. As for the gaming benchmarks, we tested Cyberpunk 2077 in 6 different scenarios, and we can get up to 180 frames per second with the fake frames. And I can say I'm okay with these kind of fake frames, but if you want to play this game without any fake frame, you will get around 22 FPS in average, and I can suggest you to play this game without fake frames, especially because this laptop has only 8 GB of VRAM. I know it is on Nvidia's side that they are releasing their GPUs with only 8 GB of VRAM, but it is what we can get, and we have to enable DLSS or something like that. We also tested Rainbow Six Siege in 3 different scenarios, and in all different scenarios we can get great results, and I was happy with the results. We can get up to 370 FPS in Rainbow Six Siege X, which is great. We also tested Fragment in this laptop, and in 2 different scenarios we can get up to 500 FPS in average, which is great. And for the Red Dead Redemption 2, we can get up to 90 FPS in average, which is great again. And with Shadow of the Tomb Raider, we can get up to 147. With the Wukong in 2 different scenarios, we can get 130 in recommended, and in cinematic we can get 75 FPS in average. We also tested Marvel Rivals to see how it can perform in this game, which is a eSport title almost, because It is a bit heavier than we expected, but in this game we can get up to 130 FPS, which is good again. We also tested Call of Duty Warzone, which is not optimized, and I hate this game. I don't like it, and they have potato CPUs with potato optimization, and I hate this game. I hope Nvidia can make their game more optimized, because we are suffering when we are playing this game, or we are doing anything with this damn game. I don't like it, and I can say you can get 132 FPS in average. So the combination of 14650HX and a full power 5060 delivers a smooth and powerful gaming and processing experience. In our tests, this laptop demonstrated high level of performance, proving that even with more budget-friendly components, it remains a worthy number of the ROG family. So, what's the final verdict? If you are a die-hard fan of the ROG brand and want to experience one of their top-tier gaming laptops on a more limited budget, the Asus ROG G16, G615JMR is one of the best choices available to you. However, if brand loyalty isn't your main priority, there are strong competitors in the market right now. Laptops like Asus TUF or Asus or Lenovo Log or Acer Helios are a lot cheaper than this laptop, or at this price can offer more power with Nvidia RTX 5070 or even Core Ultra 7 or Core Ultra 9 CPUs. It's dependent on you. If you want to get the best and the greatest performance in this price range, you have to go with other brands or other models. But if you're okay with this amount of performance and you really want a ROG laptop, you can get this laptop and be happy with it. So, what do you think about this laptop? Will you buy it or not? And if you want to buy it, you can use our Amazon affiliate link in the description below. I think I go with the ROG and be happy with it. Thanks a lot for watching. What do you think about this laptop? Tell us in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.